authorized to fire at will.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You all know me. Lou Skunk is here. Thanks, Lou, for being here. I know this is incredibly short notice. I was not planning on doing this this morning, almost afternoon for me. I have other things I should be doing with my Sunday since yesterday was all rain and flooding. Um, but um, thanks for stopping in. If you guys would please push this out to whatever social media platforms you use. I don't care if it's Twix or Facebook or Truth Social or whatever the case might be. Forgive my appearance. Like I said, I was getting ready to do yard work and I was gonna trim and shave the head and all of that, and I'm just a wreck. So I'm I'm going to get pretty much straight to the point. If you haven't yet, subscribe, share, hit the bell icon notification. Head on over to the membership side. If you haven't picked a membership level yet, do that. Um, this helps me keep getting content out and doing this. Uh, the Angry Vet Tav and others have already been talking about this, so I wanted to add my voice to it, not to piggyback onto them, but to amplify this message. Carolina Fort Worth was doing she was recording public servants in the conduct in their conduct and in their business as they were um, apparently dealing with somebody in a private parking lot in Fort Worth last night, and they didn't like her doing it. That's what it came down to. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She didn't threaten any violence. She didn't threaten any harm. Now, I'm going to bring something to bear in this conversation that others probably aren't aware of or others probably aren't familiar with. And we're going to talk real quick about what's referred to as the Graham standards, or um, yeah, we'll just call them the Graham standards. All right. So the Graham standards are incredibly important. So I'm going to share those with you, and then we're going to watch what they did to Caroline. And then we're going to finish this up, and I'm going to go back to doing what I had on my schedule for the day. So there we go. Let me get me picture in picture here. Actually, let's do that. So for those of you that aren't aware, um, there is a general Fourth Amendment right to be free from an unreasonable amount of force and excessive use of force. And the Graham standards, as you look at them, are set a parameter for what an officer can and cannot do in seizing you, and it's based on your conduct and whatnot. And so, as you can see here, it says, in general, a seizure of a person is unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment if a police officer uses excessive force in making a lawful arrest and or in defending himself, herself, others, and or in attempting to stop a fleeing or escaping suspect. Therefore, to establish an unreasonable seizure in this case, the plaintiff must prove by a preponderance of the evidence that the officer used excessive force. Under the Fourth Amendment, a police officer may use only such force as is objectively reasonable under all the circumstances. You must judge the reasonableness of a particular use of force from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene and not with the 2020 vision of hindsight. Although the facts known to the officer are relevant to your inquiry, an officer's subjective intent or motive is not relevant to your inquiry. In determining whether the officer used excessive force in this case, consider all of the circumstances known to the officer on the scene, the nature of the crime or other circumstances, whether the plaintiff or decedent posed an immediate threat to the safety of the officer, whether the plaintiff was actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest, the amount of time the officer had to determine the type and amount of force that reasonably appeared necessary in any changing circumstances during that period, the relationship between the need of the use of force and the amount of force used, the extent of the plaintiff's decedent's injury, any effort made by the officer to temper or to limit the amount of force, the severity of the security at issue, the availability of alternative methods to take the plaintiff into custody or to subdue the plaintiff, the number of lives at risk, motorists, pedestrians, police officers, and the party's relative culpability, which party created the dangerous situation, which party is more innocent, whether it was practical for the officer to give a warning of the imminent use of force and whether such warning was given, whether the officer was responding to a domestic violence disturbance, whether it should have been apparent to the officer that the person used force against was emotionally disturbed, whether a reasonable officer would have or should have accurately perceived a mistaken fact, whether there was a probable cause for a reasonable officer to believe that the suspect had committed a crime involving the infliction or threatened infliction of serious physical harm. Those are the Graham standards or Graham factors. Those are the Graham factors. And that's why you will hear time after time after time after time after time, cops will say things like, stop resisting, stop resisting, stop resisting. That is because they have had it drummed into them to use that phrase based on the Graham standards. Nowhere does that play out more perfectly in the eyes of the world to see than what we are about to watch with Carolina Fort Worth. What you're about to see is why cops keep earning the hate. You can argue with me all day long that I am incorrect, that I'm being hateful towards cops, but what the cops do to Carolina Fort Worth, and in particular Kruger, what Kruger does to Carolina Fort Worth in this situation is evil and is a pure violation of the Graham factors or the Graham standards. I don't care which way you slice it. I don't care how you think about it. There's no other way to say it. It's a clear violation. So now we're going to watch what happened to Carolina Fort Worth. Once again, this was last night. Video went up like 8 hours ago or so. So everybody kind of woke up to this today. She's observing from a parking lot area. We're going to go back just a little bit here.
How the hell are you going to tow off a private parking lot? Are you allowed to tow off a private parking lot? Are you allowed to tow off a private parking lot? Oh, you're going to ignore me? Okay. Be a dick. You were a dick to me one other night, too. It's Mr. Dickhead. He's the only tow truck driver that's ever been rude to me besides that other one. This is nothing about, it says, the signs do not, this is a private parking lot. So they're going to tow all these cars off on people who are still working or think they're safe.
I want everybody to pay attention. She's not being disruptive. She's not being dangerous. She's not posing any threat or any of that. She's just doing commentary, which is what we should all be doing. Always film the cops and always do commentary. Always. Any opportunity that you get.
It's a private parking lot. It doesn't say any. There's no towing and will be enforced signs. Let's look for them. Do you see any towing will be strictly enforced signs? I don't see any. So there's no signs that say towing will be enforced. What does this say? This is validated parking. It says please register upon parking. Then validate parking. Scan code or take pay. Failure to pay or extend the time may result in boot or tow. Please register upon parking. Who do they register with? Okay, here it says, here's a sign. Does anybody know how to do these? This is what the sign says. I got to scratch so let me focus in. Here's what the sign's saying. Signs say validated parking. Please register upon parking. Business can then validate parking for Folk Street warehouses. Ways to validate. You can scan the QR code or text pay. Failure to pay or extend time may result in boots. Okay, so how do they know if they paid or not? That's what I want to know. How do they know if they paid or not? How do you know if they paid or not? How do you guys know if they paid or not? Oh, they're going to ignore me too. Help, rape, fire, 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 fire. That's great community relations too.
And take note, public servants, these two pigtailed cops are just blatantly ignoring her. She's asking a legitimate question about how do you know if people have paid, because that's city parking where your car can be towed, you can be ticketed, boot can be put on, all of that. More of these, and these just tertiary, ancillary, ridiculous fees on top of also having to pay to park. And she's asking this legit question, and these two pigtailed tyrants are ignoring her.
How do you know if they paid or not, ladies? Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, Kruger. No, I'm not going to before. There's no investigation. There's no nothing.
You can go to the other side of the street. You're going to get arrested. I'm not warning you again.
What are you talking about?
Go to the other side of the street right
Why?
now.
Wait, tell me why first.
You're under arrest. You're not.
No, I'm not under.
Now, go to the other side of the street or you're going to be arrested. She asked a simple question. She has a right to know why they're ordering her off. She did say, no, tell me what's going on. I'll grant that. She did say that. But there was no attempt at de-escalation here. There was no attempt at explaining to her what code, what statute, what ordinance, whatever, what policy she may have violated. It was just, you're going to do what I say, damn it, or you're going to go to jail. This is where you're about to get pissed off.
Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Now listen very, very closely. This is why cops are earning the hate.
Stop resisting.
She's bleeding.
Okay, one, you hear him say hear him say stop resisting. Then you hear what appears to be snoring, folks. That is not snoring. This Officer Kruger of the Fort Worth Police Department, who I have already got reports on has been fired for something, it sounds like similar to this in the past, grabs Carolina, throws her to the ground with such force that it knocked her unconscious. What you're hearing is not snoring. She's not just asleep. What you're hearing is agonal breathing. And do not think for a minute that agonal breathing means strictly that you're about to die. It can be indicative of imminent death, but it is not necessarily indicative of imminent death. But it does indicate severe trauma. It's very severe trauma. And it's the body struggling to take in air. It's the body struggling to get enough oxygen, and it's not true breathing. This means she was thrown to the ground with so much force that she clearly sustained some sort of traumatic brain injury that fast. I don't like this, but we're going to go back and listen again.
Wait, tell me why first.
You're under arrest. You're not.
No, I'm not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Did you hear that?
Stop.
Did you hear that?
No, I'm not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Did you hear that? That's her body trying to get air. And this is when she goes straight into agonal breathing.
Stop resisting.
She's bleeding.
She's bleeding. She's It's not snoring. This cop tried to kill
You don't
her.
know how to make
The cop tried to kill her. You could say, well, it wasn't intentional. You could say it's not intentional. You could say it was an accident. You could say everything you want to say. I'm not going to watch it again. It's pissing me off that bad. You could tell me whatever you want to tell me. Nothing about that was reasonable. Nothing about what that cop did was right. If you can justify this, if you're so much of a bootlicking cuck for the blue that you can watch this and say that was a justifiable use of force under any circumstance, you should be in prison because you are a danger to society. But even more, that cop should be immediately stripped of his position. That cop, those ponytailed pigs on scene should have immediately drawn down on that officer and arrested him for attempted murder. Because that's what that was. That wasn't just criminal negligence. That wasn't just excessive use of force. That was attempted homicide. That was clearly attempted homicide. There's no other way around it. If you go back to the Graham standards that I showed, the Graham factors that I showed, nothing that Carolina did was at all indicative of him having the justification to even arrest her, let alone use the level of force that he used. He threw her to the ground head first. That's the only way to explain what just happened. And people, I'm sure this shocks you guys. Now that I'm back on Facebook, I am trolling every single Back to Blue, every single agency that I can find that puts up videos of their people doing supposedly good stuff. And in trolling them for sure when they're doing things that are clearly violations of our natural rights. And all of these people, why are you so hateful? And one guy's like, "Would your mom piss in your Cheerios this morning, or your Fruit Loops this morning?" No, folks, I don't hate the cops. I hate what they get away with, and I hate the fact that they feel entitled to do it. Really, the people that I hate the most, to be quite honest with you, are the people that back them up so blindly. This freaking pig attempted to kill Carolina Fort Worth. And had she not had her camera on when that happened, and you know for damn sure that's part of the reason he was so mad, that this Kruger was so upset. You go watch the entire video. The link is in the description. And there will be, when I get them, I will put the link to any fundraising that might be there. Carolina is in a trauma unit right now in Carolina, or in Fort Worth. Just think about that. This young lady is in a trauma unit. For filming the police. That wild boar, that pig, almost assuredly forever changed her life. And you know what? I lied. We're going to watch it again. We have to. We have to see this again and again and again. Again and again and again. Until this sinks in.
Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, Kruger. No, I'm not going to the floor. There's no investigation. There's no nothing.
You can go to the other side of the street. You're going to get arrested. I'm not warning you
What are
again.
you talking about?
Go to the other side of the street right
Why?
now.
Wait, tell me why first.
You're under arrest. You're not.
No, not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
She's bleeding. How do you know if they paid or not, ladies? Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, Kruger. No, I'm not going to the floor. There's no investigation. There's no nothing.
You can go to the other side of the street. You're going to get arrested. I'm not warning you
What are
again.
you talking about?
Go to the other side of the street right
Why?
now.
Wait, tell me why first.
You're under arrest. You're not.
No, not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
She's bleeding.
Start me a supervisor and an ambulance. Yet?
No, I'm not going to the floor. There's no investigation.
That enough?
There's no nothing.
You can go to the other side of the
When are you
street.
gonna
You're
wake
get
up?
arrested. I'm not warning you
What
again.
are you
America.
talking about?
Go to the other side of the street right
Why?
now.
When
Wait,
the
tell me why
actual
first.
fuck are gonna wake
You're
up?
under arrest. You're not.
No, not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
Had enough?
She's bleeding.
When are we going to have enough, America? When are you going to say enough? When will you finally be pissed off enough to start telling all of your neighbors and all your family members and every cop you meet, enough is enough? I'm done. You want me to believe there are good cops out there? I want to see every freaking cop in the United States commenting about how evil this is. I want every cop in Fort Worth to show up at this cop's house and arrest him. Then I will believe there are good cops out there. That's when I will believe there are fucking good cops out there. That's when I'll believe it. That's when I will take it for real that there are good cops out there. Because right now, I don't believe it. Reach out to the Fort Worth Police Department and let them know how dissatisfied you are, how angry you are, how pissed off you are, and how quickly you want to see justice brought down on the head of Kruger and every other cop that was involved. We don't know her status. Carolina could be fighting for her life right now. And I don't just blame the cops. I blame their administrators. I blame their mayors. I blame their city councils. And in the case of county sheriff's offices, I blame their county boards and their administrators. In the state, I blame the administrators of state police. I blame the politicians. I blame the Republicans. I do. I blame Republicans. Because every time you turn around, Republicans will tell you, look, you just comply or die. Comply or die. I hear it constantly from these son of a bitches. Comply or die. Fight it in court later. What did Carolina do to deserve this? Tell me what she did to deserve this. Not a goddamn thing. Happy Sunday, folks. Hope you had a great weekend. Exactly. The people, actual liberty and evanescence. Trump wants to give them what he called ultimate immunity because they don't have enough qualified immunity. And I guarantee you that if she survives this, Carolina is going to have a fight on her hands to even get his qualified immunity stripped from him. This is where I disagree with Tav. Tav said no. Tav said in his video this morning when he was reviewing it, this is where the cop loses his qualified immunity. No. It's so hard to get qualified immunity stripped from cops. Because once they start stripping qualified immunity from cops, then they have to start stripping it from politicians. They have to start stripping it from prosecutors. They have to start stripping it from judges, school teachers. People don't understand this. Every single person in the public sector with a job in the public sector is protected by qualified immunity, except for in those states that have begun to remove qualified immunity. So if they start taking it from cops, they have to start running the risk that they're going to be they're going to lose their immunity. Prosecutorial immunity, judicial supremacy, all of that. Carolina did not deserve this. Nobody deserves this. There are times where force is necessary in the line of duty. What they just did to Caroline is not that time. Go back and watch this, and then watch the whole video and tell me that she did anything at all to deserve what she got. And then come back here and comment. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all of you bootlicking sycophants that she deserved this. And then come say it to me, to my face. Come say it to my face. Or better yet, come tell me I wouldn't know because I've never done the job. That I would love to see. This corrupt cop, Kruger, attempted to kill her. Whether that was intent the day that he got, or when he got up yesterday morning to start his shift last night, or even when he got out of his car, it doesn't matter. What matters is what would a reasonable officer have done in that situation? That wasn't reasonable. Kruger's a piece of shit. He deserves to be locked in a hole and never get out again. He deserves to lose his pension, and all of his personal property should be stripped from him and liquidated and given to Caroline. All of it. I don't care if he's got kids and a wife. I don't care how much it hurts him and everybody who cares about him. And every cop that witnessed it and didn't do anything. I want to hear that he was arrested. Nope, you won't hear that because he wasn't. Please go and share this out. Help me bring attention to this. Or find the video yourself and share that video. Or do your own commentary on this. Talk about the Graham factors. Help me bring attention to this. Carolina deserves this, and she's going to need our help in the days to come. And Kruger needs to be gone. Fight for your liberty. It is yours. Fight for your freedom. It belongs to you. Sic Semper. Tyrannus.
We are go for liftoff in T-30. Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Secondary guidance systems engaged. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark.
All systems are a go. All systems are a go.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at